We all recognize that making money is difficult and that it requires you to get started, become smarter, and more dedicated, and even make some really reluctant sacrifices. If any of the topics in the video irritate you, you should be wary, which implies you should make some little changes in your life. Of course, it makes no difference if you don't want to be financially successful at all.
Probably if I had one piece of advice to give to young people, that across the board, it would be just to don't get in debt. The game plays a lot easier if you're a little bit ahead of the game than if you're behind the game. And Ben Franklin said that long ago in better terms, which Charlie can recite. But there's a real difference. I get letters every day from people that are in all kinds of financial trouble, and often it's health related, which is tragic. But very often it relates to debt. I mean, they get behind the game and they're never going to catch up. And often, it may surprise you, but often, I write these people. They're very decent people. They've just made mistakes, and I just tell them the best course is bankruptcy. I mean, they are not going to catch up, and they should start all over again, and they should never look at a credit card the rest of their life. But it would have been better if they'd gotten that advice a little earlier. But it's very tempting to spend more than you earn. I mean, it's very understandable.
You can't save money. You've probably heard this before. You may believe that earning so little money and then being unable to save any money is typical. That, however, is not the case. If you can't save 10% of your salary right now, you won't be able to save even if your income doubles. You could believe that doubling your salary and maintaining your current lifestyle will allow you to save extra money. However, very few people are capable of doing so. People who spend their entire paycheck frequently change their lifestyles as their finances change, and the more money they earn, the more likely they are to spend it. If you examine your situation closely, you will see what I mean. Check your spending habits over the last 2 weeks to determine which costs are unnecessary. You will find out that more than 10% of your expenses will be spent on things you don't actually need or want, but just follow the trend of consumption.
Do I pay $2.50 for a coffee? Never. I drink coffee, 1 cup every morning. It costs about 18 cents to make it, and I invest the rest. When you're getting married and you're starting out, the worst thing you can do is put yourself in debt for your wedding. I know it sounds romantic to spend a lot of money. It's crazy to do that. At my wedding, I had no money. And I said to my wife, why go in debt? Let's invite our friends over, let's buy a few cases of beer, and I'll order some pizza, and we'll have a great time. And that's exactly what happened. We saved a fortune. I was able to put it into my business and start growing it. I don't like to see people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars thinking that they have to do that for their friends. The best thing you can do for your friends is have a party, have a good time, and talk about your future together. But forget about buying that ring. Forget about spending a fortune. You don't need a white dress for $22,000. None of that stuff. Save your money, invest it, and later you can take everybody out for a great time.
Obviously, young people are more receptive to change or to actually even forming habits that are going to be useful in life. And I think that people underestimate, until they get older, they underestimate just how important habits are and how difficult they are to change when you're 45 or 50, and how important it is that you form the right ones when you're young.
Well, all the trite stuff is what works. I mean, you avoid doing the really dumb things, like racing moving trains to the crossing, experimenting with cocaine, risking getting AIDS or other unfortunate ailments. There are just a lot of standard things that take people down, and you just give those a wide berth. And then you want to develop a good character and good mental habits, and you want to learn from your mistakes, every single one, as you go along. It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
You need a healthy lifestyle. No matter how much money you have, if you are controlled by something or addicted to something, you are not a free person. Life should be happy and wonderful, and everyone wants to live as long and healthy as possible so that they can enjoy life to the fullest. It is well known that rich people live longer than poor people. For example, most of the wealth of the legendary investor Warren Buffett was earned after he turned 60. But sometimes you don't have to be poor to live 10 years less than others, just because you made some stupid decisions and lost control of your life. Think about your future when you make any decisions. Or learn to play chess. Chess can help you plan ahead, not rush your decisions, and analyze the benefits and drawbacks of your options. According to research, people who play chess are more likely to make wise decisions than those who do not play chess.
I don't think it's wise to have an ambition to be president of the United States or a billionaire or something like that, because the odds are too much against you. Much better to aim low. I did not intend to get rich. I wanted to get independent. I just overshot.
All you think about is getting rich. Real wealth takes time to accumulate, accumulating earth into a mountain, accumulating water into a lake. You may always imagine that if you suddenly inherit $1 billion and win the lottery, or learn that a long-lost relative has left his huge fortune to you. To be honest, I had dreams of being wealthy suddenly and spent the entire day planning how to deal with the massive assets that resulted from the unexpected affluence. But most importantly, you must convince yourself that when you awaken from your dream, you must maintain your feet on the ground, face reality, and begin hardworking step by step toward your goal. However, those who are serious in the pursuit of wealth won't waste their time on these fruitless fantasies. Instead, they will work hard, piece by piece, toward wealth. This process takes several years, and while you can't see the results right away, they will gradually emerge over time before you know it. Expecting this to happen effortlessly without putting in any effort is really foolish. Keeping this in mind, life is what you make of it.
It's amazing how if you just get up every morning and keep plugging and have some discipline and keep learning, and it's amazing how it works out okay.
You think you only need to work hard. Actually, accumulating and retaining wealth requires the coordination of a wide variety of skills, and hard work and self-discipline are just one piece of this puzzle. The biggest obstacle people face today is that they don't take full advantage of technology. Your ability to discipline yourself, to self-motivate, to learn to adapt, and learn how to use the modern technology at your disposal wisely are all part of your success. You have to look at the big picture. Instead of opening a small store in your neighborhood, why not open a store online and sell your goods to the world? Thousands of different platforms are available to support you. Use all these resources and see what kind of progress you can make.
And staying cheerful because it's the wise thing to do. Is that so hard?
You need others to motivate you. Self-motivation is one of the most important inner abilities. Sometimes you have to rely solely on your own willpower to complete your tasks. You have to stand on your own side to protect yourself and correct your own whims. Our daily emotions have an obvious impact on our life planning. So the ability to discipline your thoughts and actions is one of the most important abilities for success. Without a firm attitude, you will never succeed. Let's be blunt, if you find it hard to stay focused and disciplined enough to force yourself to move forward, it's simply impossible to become wealthy. It's certainly easier to think about the future, build goals, and move forward along the way when you have it all together, but everyone has tough times, and when that happens, it's up to you what you do.
And I had to, it was going to be a little difficult. And there were things about law practice I saw that were quite limiting. And what happened was, my pitifully small earnings as a young man, I kept underspending them, and I kept investing fairly boldly and fairly smartly. And at the end of my first 13 years of law practice, I had more liquid investments than I'd made in all those years of law practice pre-tax. I'd done that in my spare time with these little tiny sums.
You can't increase your income, and some individuals may feel stuck where they are. They can change jobs or work harder, but they haven't been able to increase their income, as if there's an invisible barrier they can't overcome. You may believe that in order to earn more money, you must work 60 hours per week to obtain your PhD and maintain extensive contacts. But more money also implies more responsibility. Are you prepared for that? Many people will get used to their current financial situation and live on a set budget, and instead panic when their salary rises. If someone gets a bonus at work, he or she will spend it all within a week. If someone asks them to do a project outside their job responsibilities, they will say they are too busy and refuse to do it, so they lose the opportunity to raise their income.
I just read and read and read. I probably read 5 to 6 hours a day. I don't read as fast now as when I was younger, but I read 5 daily newspapers. I read a fair number of of magazines. I read 10Ks, I read annual reports, and I read a lot of other things too.
You didn't read to develop your mindset and improve your knowledge. In today's increasingly impetuous society, we value reading very much, because reading can teach you how to develop your finances more organized. Reading is a really fun way to kill time, but what many people don't realize is that we read books now not for entertainment, but for learning. Reading is a great way to learn about the world and about yourself. You have direct access to the works of the most creative thinkers in the world. All information is available in books and on the internet. This is a unique advantage in the 21st century. You can get great value from the books at the cheapest cost, and you only need to move your fingers and click. Many of you must have signed up to a series of websites, or bought a bunch of books, saying that you will read all of them in the future. Now is the best time. If you don't know where to start, just pick up the most popular self-development books and see how they can change the way you see the world. Warren Buffett once said, "If you can't find a way to make money while you sleep, you are going to work until you die." You only have one source of income. We all have to think about the what-ifs. What if you can't go to work every day like you do now? Would you be able to take care of yourself and the people you love? Or do you want them to take care of you? And that's where income stream diversification comes into play. In other words, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. So no matter how much you make, start saving and find other options for investment. They may have different high and low returns, but they will also be less dependent on you. Both dividend investing and growth investing can be very valuable in the long run. You're strapped for cash, you can't pay your bills, you're underpaid because you spend very little, or simply don't take the time to improve your core skills, and even when you get paid, you still waste your money on things that don't matter. If you've ever had to call your bank because you don't have enough credit or feel desperate because you can't pay your immediate bills, you know how far poverty can push people. This, however, does not simply affect those with lower income. Celebrities can also be affected by similar issues. Johnny Depp was previously in significant financial problems, and despite all of his success, he couldn't pay a $1 million bill at one time, forcing him to liquidate some of his assets. But let's get back to your question. If you don't know how you got into this predicament, it's probably because you don't understand the rules of how the world works, and you should work hard to improve your knowledge and abilities. The good news is that there is a lot of useful information on the internet that can help you, such as our YouTube channel, which is a head start in achieving your goals. We appreciate your watching. Please hit the like button below if this video helped you in any way, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again and see you next time.